I could tell you a whimsical tale that's probably very inaccurate.
The Sensible Sociopath.
2, 3, 1, go.
Roma, the podcast is here!
It really never gets old.
Sorry about those jokes I said earlier about babies with both sets of genitals.
What does that even mean?
You know, I'm willing to risk my life for this podcast, Roma.
Ugh, that sounds insane.
I'm also willing to risk your life for this podcast.
Periods are not just for women.
And you'll get to red pill yourself if you choose to.
Come on if you're thirsty.
Take off their underwear and relax with their uncle.
It was kind of traumatizing.
White people are bad and do bad things.
How fast can I eat your ass?
I mean, you know, you look at me and you go, this is an international man.
My whole life is a sham.
And you can't get the white Oreos, that's racist.
I think I counted like 25 racially charged jokes.
White privilege allows me to turn off someone's headlights.
I was just being agreeable.
Roma, when was the last time you were agreeable?
It's been days.
Also, if you try to poop really hard, sometimes you'll come.
You would think that we'd have our shit together.
It's the enema for your face.
Yeah, I was gonna say cleaning's for women.
I'm not a lady, Roma.
Oh, this is so gay.
Let's try to be inclusive, Roma.
What does that even mean?
I know these things, Roma. I know many things. Why, hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 175 of the Sensible Sociopath Podcast.
175!
Woo!
Yeah!
I'm Stephen Paul.
Wait, hold on. Woohoo! My mic wasn't on.
Roma! Yeah, we need that who. It's the soprano.
I was
of our
gonna
whoos.
say we're not the show without it.
Exactly. Yeah, we're the show with it.
That's right.
People know that. People know we're with it.
Absolutely.
So we are here live on YouTube. I'm Stephen Paul, Das, Superfan Dan,
What's up?
and Roma Romerica Rifkin.
Hi, guys.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
I didn't know where my horns were.
Wow.
I wanted that.
There's
That's a pretty good representation.
They're somewhere over there.
Yeah, somewhere in that jumble of buttons. So welcome to the show, everybody. If you're here live on a Friday night with us on YouTube, hit subscribe, shoot that share out to all the people you love and you hate, because then you can chat at them, and, you know, it's no holds barred. That's what I say. We will determine a winner at the end. Also, like our stuff. You can hit the little thumbs up, and you can also, I think I said subscribe, but you can leave a comment as well. So tonight, we are kind of having a little crossover show. You know,
Okay.
a couple different kind of topics.
Oh,
that-
really?
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one today. We're gonna have some demonstrations and some a little bit of contests. As everyone who's been watching knows, we are amateur spies, so we're learning the skills of spies. And last week we talked about how we need to build our way up to our spy competition. And so today is lock breaking day.
Nice.
And so what we're going to do is we are going to each work on this same lock, so it's all fair, with the same tool.
Oh, nice.
I got some other stuff here too, but nothing. Yeah, I don't think anything's going to beat this. And we'll just see. Well, hopefully we'll be able to open it. I haven't done it in a while. I don't know if Dan's ever done it.
No,
I haven't.
Roma hasn't done it, so
The only lock I have ever actually successfully unlocked is that little button in the bathroom door where you stick like a screwdriver in there.
for the paper towel rolls.
No. Like in the bathroom door.
Oh, to peep on women?
Yeah.
Dan.
Well, you know, it's you got to start somewhere.
Dan, you sick pervert.
But well, what do you do? And then you like you stick it into the hole and it pops the button on the other side.
Yeah, I
and
know
that
what you're
unlocks
talking
the
about.
door. Yeah.
A lot of women don't like that, though. You know, you sneak up behind them.
On the toilet, that's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. I just pretend I paint myself white.
Trevin said this should be good.
Oh, yeah.
It's always good, Trevin.
Well, and Dan, I think you and I also had, I love food. You love food.
Always.
We're
We're definitely at least cooks.
exactly. Yeah.
We're cooks
if
at the
nothing
very
else.
least.
Yeah.
Yes.
So today I thought I'd talk about knives.
Ooh,
And
yes.
You know, that's just a huge thing to I think set
Set
know,
yourself up for success.
definitely set
It's-
yourself up for success, but just like bring you out of like just regular cooking.
Mediocrity.
Yes, to something where you're enjoying it and like you almost honor your your knife or what. I don't know.
There's something special about being able to make good clean cuts with a nice knife.
Absolutely, yeah, a nice sharp knife that you kind of grow to love. It's almost like a part of.
Did you start honing your knives a little bit more, Steve?
Oh well, yeah. I've been practicing,
Good man.
so I'm gonna be doing a little demo today. I'm gonna show some
Yeah.
people different ways that they can do their knives. So I think we should get into it, and then we'll get into the lock picking kind of when I start doing demo stuff.
Okay.
All right. So let's start this conversation how I intended to. Dan, what do you think the most important tool in the kitchen is?
A block.
Yes,
I'm gonna go with a
block of wood. Yes.
Yeah, a block
Actually,
of wood.
You're not far off on that, because that's a secondary, an extension of what I'm talking about.
Clean, sanitized surface.
That yes, that's important too, Dan.
Well, I was thinking
Yeah.
of the block.
Yeah. A knife, the kitchen knife.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I was being elusive.
Well, you are good at that.
Yeah. So what I did was I brought out my old knife bag.
Ooh.
I got this years ago. Boy, it sure looks dirty. And I've tried washing it, and it just won't come out.
Well traveled.
Yeah. I got this back when I was.
Scott says the woman.
God damn it, Scotty. And
Yeah, that's
hello to
hilarious.
you, sir.
I was trying to figure out what exactly I was referring to. I'm like, oh, the tool of the kitchen.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that's great. Good one, Scott. Sorry, I didn't laugh uproariously, but I would have been faking it. Because I didn't understand the joke yet. So-
Ooh.
We grabbed that, Dan.
Yep, yep.
Perfect.
Oh, baby.
Woohoo. So we have a bunch of knives here and some honing steels.
Oh, fancy.
Oh my good damn.
Wow.
That is
Beautimus.
impressive.
Yeah, it's quite the little kit. Dan, what'd you do?
I looked at it.
Gah!
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Perfect.
I looked at it.
Okay, so knives. The most important knife in your collection, I would argue, is the chef's knife.
I would argue the same.
Now, a chef's knife can come in kind of two varieties. You have your more Asian variety, and then you like a Japanese version, and then you have the German. There's also French. French and German are fairly similar.
Now, is the difference between the two? What's the biggest difference between the two styles of chef knife?
Yeah, so okay. So the it really is in the shape and contour of the blade. A German chef's knife has a rocking tip. So it's got a curvature to the end of the blade that makes you able to keep it on the cutting board and have a rocking motion to like cut herbs and different things.
Mm-hmm.
You can also do that with a cucumber or something. You can kind of have like a little scissor
Oh yeah,
motion.
sharp enough knife. Carrots beware.
Absolutely, yeah. So another thing is the handles. So the handles that we traditionally use are going to be a little bit fatter on a German knife, and on a Japanese knife they're a bit more delicate, a bit more. They kind of do usually like an oval shape, rather than just kind of the a chunky good grip.
Like a grip.
Yeah. And so this knife is a Henkel, J.A. Henkel's Willings,
Good knife.
4-star. This was the first good knife I ever bought back in the early 2000s, based upon a recommendation by the chef I was working with. I didn't buy it for a few years after that, but that was the one that he told me. And so when I did get to buy, my own good knives, that's what I went with. And generally in the knife market, you're either going to kind of get, if you're in the German market, there's Wusthof, and then there's Henkel's. And if you go to your local Williams Sonoma, your Sur La Table, or a lot of places, the higher end places.
Ours is gone.
Oh, really?
Our Sur La Table is gone.
It was overpriced.
I mean, that's true, but it's gone.
I love those stores though. Like I don't buy anything at Williams Sonoma, but I walk through them and just gawk.
Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful.
I've got a
It's like-
half erection while I'm in there.
It's like anthropology for women, I imagine.
Yeah.
Or gay men. I'm not sure.
You mean the study of societies?
No, it's
Oh.
a store. It's a
Oh, okay.
kind of a boutique clothing household store.
Do they have a shitload of candles?
Yeah.
Yes, I've been
Yeah,
there.
they
Mhm.
do.
It's fun. I like walking around.
Yeah, silly sweaters and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
The local anthropology actually has this amazing cooking station in there
Oh.
that's got like this butcher block that it looks like you could throw a cow up there and just butcher it on the
Dude.
spot.
Interesting.
I'd like that.
It's awesome. It's in the village.
Okay. Yeah.
it's
I'd have
actually next to where Sur La Table used to be.
Oh,
Oh.
that's so sad. Well, goodbye overpriced knives.
Yeah.
Where I got this was actually a place I still buy stuff from, which is Cutlery and More.
Mm.
And I do
Where's
like
that?
them. It's online.
Oh, okay.
They pretty much deal with like this is like a mid range. I mean, well, this is low end of the mid range. This is the Henkel 4-star. It's got a secret, combination of steels, and this was created in Solingen, Germany.
Ooh.
Solingen, Germany has been making steel since 1731,
Ooh, wow.
or Henkel's has been in Solingen, Germany.
Oh, nice.
So that's one thing about steels too, is that steels come from specific places that you want to buy them from. So if it says Solingen, Germany, I'll buy it. Roma, do you want to holler?
Yeah, Lambo says all I use is my pocket knife. And Trevor wants to point out that Brandon's late for the show. So
God damn
boo-
Fucking
boo to him.
Brandon.
Yeah.
And also, I have to say that it doesn't sound like Todd is here, but Todd would definitely benefit from the information about
Oh, yeah?
about the knives.
Good thing it's on YouTube for the rest of time.
I agree. Oh,
Yeah.
there he is.
Hey.
I have arrived.
Speak, and there he is.
He's like Kramer, just sliding in the door right on time.
I'm getting no sleep. No sleep. Where? Who else is in the chat today, Roma?
Let's see. We got Todd, Trevin, Justin, Lambo, Scott, Margot.
Oh,
Yay,
hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Hello to
And
everybody.
I hit up Kat, but I don't know if she's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Cat.
She's been disappointing.
Doing
I feel like,
Canadian things.
yeah, she's been having like a social life.
Yeah, she probably has a boyfriend.
Ooh, you're
Slut.
probably right.
Yeah,
Maybe it's too snowed in for her to be on YouTube.
yeah.
I think it's been hot there lately.
What?
Oh, really?
In
Mhm.
Canada?
Yeah, hot and
Mhm.
heavy.
Oh yeah, for like a weekend.
Yeah, she probably found herself a hockey goon, eh?
Or Canadian Mountie.
That's
Oh,
it.
yeah,
I get
yeah.
it.
Nice.
Yeah. So I definitely, one of the things I like about German knives is how thick they are. So they're kind of a heavy duty knife. The blade profile on them, or the grind on them, is typically going to be about a 20-degree angle, although they are going to 15-degree angles. And what
Really?
what that means is that when you have the knife, if you're sharpening it, it's going to be a 15-degree angle, which it makes for a sharper blade. That's a total of a 30-degree angle, which, is, I don't know, somewhere less than 45. But a 20-degree angle it's a 40-degree angle. And so to me, that it feels too barbaric. You'll crush your herbs rather than.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
And that's a good way to tell if your knife needs either sharpening or honing, because if you're like chopping parsley and your cutting board is green, your knife is not sharp.
Yeah, that's true.
It should not be beating the parsley to a bloody death.
Well, it also depends on, I'd say, how much, how fresh the
Mhm.
parsley is
Sure.
in particular. And also, it attributes to how wet your cutting board is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
There's several factors.
If you're pouring some salt on that parsley, it'll leach it right out of there.
Yeah, it'll just, salty parsley.
Yep.
Hey, Dan, what are we drinking tonight? Todd's drinking Irish whiskey.
Ooh, good man.
Mhm.
Tonight we are drinking the Seven Devils out of Caldwell.
Idaho. Hell yeah.
Idaho, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely
Seven
town.
Devils.
Caldwell's going through a cultural revolution over there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've definitely been up in their game since,
Yeah.
well, really, since the pandemic decided to push everybody out with their prices here in the Boise area,
Yeah.
and everybody was like, okay, we can't afford to be here. Let's all move to Caldwell.
Yeah.
And so Caldwell's been getting a facelift, essentially.
They've got a good Christmas display. So
Oh,
if you're around, go check that out. So a chef's knife is almost good for everything. You know, it's not so good at like peeling and that kind of thing, but it's a great tool. You use it to, crush your garlic and that peels it for you. It's really good. You know, your tip, as long as your tip's good, you can do some fine work with it. You want to choke up on the blade. You know, the more you choke up on the blade, the more control that you have. So that's why this chef's knife is the knife that I would take.
And
if
it
I could only have
also
one.
helps relax the wrist if you choke up on the blade, so you're not wrenching down.
Yeah, and if you need more torque, you just move your hand back a little bit, and then you're able to kind of get through tough stuff like ginger or like squashes and stuff. You can kind of like get in there and then just like push down on the blade to hopefully get it to go through them. Anyways, great tool. So the great thing about buying a good knife is it's going to last you the rest of your life, as long as you take care of it. So I think this has been in the dishwasher once, and I dumped her.
I bet that was a large amount of bleach.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's too dull to kill you. So let me hone this real quick, and then I'm gonna.
It's that signature.
Yeah. I hope none of my exes are dead. I should probably make those jokes if that's the case. She was slightly murdered.
Only slightly. Allegedly.
Allegedly. So the steels that these are made out of are made either a little softer or a little harder. This one is a kind of more of a softer steel. It's there's something called the Rockwell hardness scale.
Okay.
And for some reason it's HRC. I don't know why it's that acronym. Something about hardness, Rockwell.
Somebody is
something?
talking about hard rocks. That's all that we know.
Absolutely. So this is going to be a 56, 57. And then I have a very impressive knife here. That's kind of my
Would you
little.
like me to put this back?
Leave that out because I'm
Okay.
gonna fuck that one up.
Nice.
So this is a Shun dual core, and
Fancy.
yeah, and if you look at the pattern on it, it has a Damascus pattern. And so what Damascus is when they take two different types of steel, they sandwich them together, and either use a pneumatic or hydraulic thing to hammer them, which is most of the time now, which is still I think considered hand hammered because they're hand moving it and doing all that. But so it crushes the two together while they're very hot and kind of seals it into one. And then you fold, so it's two layers. Then you fold that over and hammer it down, and now it's 4. And then you fold it, and it's 18 or 8, 16, 32, 64. So they keep doing that. So you get I think they say 60, I don't know. Something.
Isn't that the Japanese blade that you were talking about?
Yes.
Because the Japanese are very well known for folding their metals to make a good strong blade.
Yes. And that comes from Seiki City, Japan.
Yeah.
So that's the other city that I buy from. So Seiki City is they've been doing it for 800 years rather than, the 1731, 300 years that Germany has. The two types of steel in here are both very durable. One of them is really hard. And so the harder the harder your Rockwell hardness is, the longer your sharpness will last,
Okay.
but the more brittle your knife is.
Oh.
So you don't want just a very hard knife. You want it to also have a more flexible component to it, which is why these two are folded together. This on the Rockwell hardness scale is a 61, which is
Wow.
very high. So this thing will maintain its edge forever. But you need it sharpened eventually if you don't sharpen it yourself. Although Shun, you can send it to them, and they have an office in Portland, Oregon, that will sharpen it for you. You can even bring it into them, and it's like a couple days or something. But you can mail it to them and get it back within 2 weeks or something. So
Okay.
Well,
Pretty cool.
quality knives, at least name quality knives.
Mm-hmm.
Can't you just send them in and
Some
they'll
of them
sharpen
do.
them.
Some of them do. If not, you can usually go to your local knife shop. There are also people on like Craigslist that do it. I don't know if I would exactly trust them with something of this caliber. So I would take it to my knife shop where I think it's like $5 an inch or so. You know.
That's what I said.
I
Did it?
charge more than that.
Good job, Roma. Good girl.
Yeah. Well, I did a lot of fives today. Brought home, yeah. Quite a bit. All these guys were short tick today. I got sorted.
Oh no, that's my dick that I strap on.
Oh, okay.
I get it.
Nice.
Roma's pagan, guys. I get it. That's Roma's side business, side hustle.
Wouldn't be bad, honestly.
Yeah.
Just gotta work on the hip thrust.
Yeah. I mean, the most important part of that, Roma, is the harness. Okay, so that's the chef's knife of the
Of the
pagan,
pagan
Yeah,
world,
there you
yeah.
go. There you,
You need
go.
a good harness. It
Yeah.
doesn't- don't matter what you plug on there.
hmm
No,
I mean, you're probably going to want a custom made, honestly.
Yeah.
that'd
Oh,
work.
yeah.
I think that'd work best.
Yeah.
I think I freaked some people out.
Oh, that's okay. Let them be surprised.
Scott says, "Hey, Roma."
Yeah. Sup, girl. Yeah. So the so like with this pattern that's on here, this Damascus pattern, and that's what it's called. Actually, Damascus steel. I believe Damascus is a place in Iran, and the original Damascus steel, the formula was lost.
Oh,
So
Yes.
that's what we were after.
much
Mhm.
like NASA's trajectory to the moon.
And,
Yes.
And the,
Is that a deep cut conspiracy, Robo?
well,
No,
and-
it's actually true. The NASA said that they lost their
Oh.
what do they call it? It's not trajectory, but
Yeah.
the way that they got to the moon.
Yeah.
They lost all that, so they would have to
Yeah.
reformulate it, and
No,
they
I think you're
they
pretty.
haven't been
yeah.
able to do that.
Yeah, the calculus that
The-
got them to
yeah,
the moon. You know,
yeah.
the maths.
the formula.
Yeah.
They lost the math, and now
Yeah.
that's why they can't go back.
That's hilarious.
That's literally a thing.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Yeah.
yeah.
oh,
But
we
Elon can
lost.
get them to Mars.
Yeah, totally. So the thing about this pattern is that some people go, "Oh, is this fake? Like, did they just scrape this in there?" Or yeah. And actually, how they make? Do you know how they make this pattern?
Not that pattern in particular, no.
Well, the way that they reveal the pattern. Do you know how that?
Isn't it oil?
Acid.
Oh, that's
Mm.
right.
So
Like it's etched.
because the folds are already in it,
Mhm.
one of the steels is affected more than I think the softer steel it gets eaten away while the harder steel does not.
Okay.
And so you get this lovely like wood grain pattern.
Yeah.
So really, really sexy knife. I love this.
I think so.
So if you look at the difference in these, now these aren't exactly the same. So this one's the 8-inch chef's knife. This one, it's a Kiritsuki knife, which is the master chef knife.
Okay.
This is in a traditional Japanese like knife set or kitchen. This is the only multi-use knife.
Okay.
The only one. So every other knife has its own specific purpose for peeling, for slicing, for blah, blah, blah. This one's one that you can actually use for meats,
Stabbing.
vegetables, all that stuff. And only the master chef gets to use this knife.
Ooh.
No one else.
That's
And so
right.
that's why I got it. I was like, I'm the master chef of this house. And then something cool that I got was this. I got.
Would
this
you let your
little-
girlfriend use that?
Roma? Don't ask questions you know the answer to. No, I would, because and one of the cool things is this pattern on it. Hey, if you scratch it up or something, you can't really tell. So
Mhm.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I do baby this thing though, and if you see the spine of the blade is much
I
less.
think it's called the Tang.
The tang is what goes down into the handle.
Oh, okay.
So you either have a partial or
centered a
full
little bit
tang.
more on the camera. There you go.
I can't do it because I'm dumb. Okay. Yeah, but this one's just a little bit thinner than this one. I mean, it's hard to tell.
You
Also,
appreciate and respect your knives. You are not dumb.
also down here. So this is something that the German knives have. I can't remember exactly what it's called. It's like the bolster or something. But down here does not have it. And so I think you could injure yourself, I guess, a little easier, but you can also sharpen the blade all the way down, where this one, it's not sharp right on the corner there. So,
Yeah, in the kitchen, that part of the bolster would disappear.
yeah,
When we'd have professionals come and sharpen the knives, that just disappeared.
you just sharpen it right down. Yeah. and I sharpen these myself, and and so they end up being pretty sharp. Oh fuck, I forgot my paper. God damn it.
You need paper?
Yeah, I've got a little paper pad somewhere, but I was going to use it to demonstrate the sharpness.
Here, I'll look.
Oh yeah, just any. I think it's white with lines on it, like a regular paper. It might be in that the thing under the lion skull.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So basically, you have the two choices. Japanese or German.
German.
Yeah. That'll work. Yep. Totally. Okay. So the next thing, once you have one of these guys, you really have to have a honing steel. There's several varieties out there. This one came with my knives when I bought them way back in the old days. It's just like a 9-inch. And both of my knives are 8-inch. You want about 2 inches longer than your blade, but a 9-inch works. But just so that you can get a full stroke out of it.
9-inch stroke. Okay.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
talking about strokes and inches.
Yeah.
Lambo says the spine of the blade.
Yes, the spine. Yep.
Okay.
So as you can see on here, there's a lot of nicks and cuts on here, which would have been my hand. So make sure your hand is below those whenever you're stealing your knives.
Not a very big guard, though.
Not a big one, no. And this one's actually for the shun. And it's kind of cool. It's got a lot of features to it. So one of them is it has smooth sides on either side. And then it has kind of a ribbed textured side on either side as well. So it's really got it's a dual use steel. The difference between those is the smooth one is for when you hone on a smooth steel, it's better when you're chopping. So like straight up and down, like the people do. While when you use the one with the little texture to it, it's better for slicing.
Okay.
So that more like rocking kind of a whatever motion that is. Roma, I saw you smiling over there. What's going on?
We've got comments. Let's see. Scott said, which one do you recommend for circumcision? Asking for a friend. Trevor wants to know, is it 9 inches a lot, though? And then he says, don't judge me, Todd.
Yeah. Well, it's a Japanese steel, so it's a lot
It's
over
a lot,
there.
yeah.
That's like double.
Yeah, exactly. That's 2 fists.
But hey, you know what? That's rocking over there.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all about speed and precision.
Mhm.
Just like with knife skills. Let's talk about knife skills.
Right?
Jeez.
Yeah. I don't know what anybody else was talking about.
So another cool little feature is on the shun, there's a little 20-degree marker there. Now, all shuns are sharpened to 15 degrees. I don't know why it's on there, but it is.
Oh.
Cool, right? You can use this on your German knives.
See, so I've actually used one of those.
Mhm.
More recently, I started using them because I bought a knife set about, it's probably going on, maybe it's 2 years, going on 2 years.
Mhm.
But I just noticed it was getting dull. I
Mhm.
don't ever touch my knives. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, so it came with one of those. So I decided to do it and it drastically improved it. But I'm like, I was thinking about that. I'm like, am I accidentally curling this edge to one side because I'm doing it too much? I mean, I have no idea what I'm doing.
I have a great trick on that no one talks about. I
Okay.
have several great tricks and that's one of the reasons I brought this to the table is because I was looking up online, like how to hone like a badass.
Mm-hmm.
And here's how you hone like a badass. Exactly how they recommend, which is you put the thing on your cutting board and then you.
Oof. Oh, love that noise.
That's exactly how they recommend everybody. And I'm like, I don't want to. I'm like, have you ever seen a butcher? You ever seen fucking Gordon Ramsay, my spirit animal?
Right?
They fucking look like badasses when they do it. Because like a butcher, they're like, basically between every cut, they're,
Yeah. And when I
and
do
just-
it, I don't do it down. I mean, I kind of do it like out.
Yeah. And so I think there's a lot of mixed information out there, and I just want to tell you guys how I do it, and it's cool.
Do you wet the blade?
No,
Really?
I always go straight dry. Yeah, I just spit on it.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
I usually wet my blade down before I hone it.
I've never heard that, but I don't see why you couldn't.
I've felt that when I do that, it actually grips the blade and the honer a lot more.
Okay.
And then, you also get a chance to, once you're done sharpening, you of course rinse your blade off.
Yeah, sure.
So
yeah, you definitely want to make sure you're cleaning off, because there could be little
Shards of metal.
I always thought to do that because of whetstones.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
when you're sharpening a blade on a whetstone, you
Yeah.
actually wet the stone and it
Well,
grips the blade more.
and so the difference between honing and sharpening is honing doesn't really remove anything. It straightens out, curves, like Roma was saying, that the blade is kind of laid over on like a microscopic level. So that cutting edge is no longer an edge, it's a curl, which will crush your parsley. Sharpening, however, does remove material. So if you're sharpening it, eventually you're going every single time you're going to get to where you're wearing the blade down. It'll probably still last your entire life, and you can hand it down to your kids and all that shit, but you will reprofile the blade to a different profile. So what they recommend is get your knives professionally sharpened once a year, maybe once every 2 years if you don't use them a lot. So Roma, maybe, like yours, you're like, holy shit, this just totally turned it around. So you probably don't need to get them sharpened because they're 2 years old, but, depending on how much you use them, you're going to get to the point where that honing doesn't work anymore.
Which not a ton. I mean,
Yeah.
a couple times a week.
Yeah.
We
and
both
that's most
work, and we're
people.
not big, cookers or anything. I used to cook a lot more, but it's just not.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about your blades is a lot of us buy stainless steel blades,
Which
and
is
it's
probably what it is.
yeah, and it's a cheaper material. They're kind of stamped rather than forged, which the forging process is like the old school way of molten metal and fucking all that shit.
And the stamped blades, God,
Yeah, it's like a
tough.
sheet of metal that they just cut a bunch of stuff out of, and then
I don't care for them. They always
Yeah.
bothered me.
Well, and be careful, because Henkel's has their twin, which is the 4-star is the bottom line of it. The bottom,
Okay.
it's been around since the 70s.
Okay.
This was the first, I believe, mass produced chef's knife.
So is it better or worse than the Ginsu?
Way better. Yeah. I mean,
Because that's
those
been around since
infomercials,
the
yeah,
80s
yeah,
or
yeah.
90s, maybe 90s.
Yeah,
Early
Seiki
90s.
City. They started making Gitsus back in 1737. Yeah, but yeah. So this one, and I think it was one of the first ones with the polypropylene handles, that are easy to grip even when they're wet. Typically they're wood with the rivets in it. But this one's just more sanitary. It's not soaking up dishwater and doing,
Right.
I mean, don't leave your fucking knives in the sink anyways. Put 'em
Well,
on the
but
cutting
still,
board.
if you're touching raw meat, like chicken or
Mhm.
whatever, and then you're grabbing the handle and
And one of the big reasons you can't put your knives in the dishwasher is in the old days, it would and even now if you have cheaper knives, the handles would warp and and actually come off. The wood would expand and contract, and then your rivets would get loose. And so you can wash your knives more nowadays, but just don't. Have respect for them.
I the set that I ended up buying, and I just bought them because they looked cool, and they had good reviews or whatever. But
Yeah.
it is a German knife, but it's actually coated in a black. It's not Teflon. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. So it looked cool. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this looks cool.
Yeah.
They were cheap. I mean, cheapish, and maybe $40 for a set with a
Yeah.
block and everything.
Yeah.
The coating starting to chip off
Ah.
very slightly, and I'll buy a new set. It's not a big deal, but
Yeah. Well, if you wanna, I'll give you advice if you want.
Yeah.
Down the road.
Next set will be a nice set.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it really makes cooking enjoyable.
Yeah.
That's the point, because if you're using shitty tools and the first one is the knife, because it's the most important that it's good. You can use a shitty frying pan and you're like, I don't know the difference. When you're using a shitty knife, you're like, fucking, and then you pull out a bread
Oh,
knife.
God,
instead.
it's-
Yeah,
No,
well,
it's
and
the worst.
prepping just sucks, and cooking is the most time you're spending is on the prep.
Yep. And it makes it more dangerous because your knife is more likely to slip off of a pineapple.
Well,
or
and you're
whatever.
also pressing harder. So if you do fuck up, you're going to
Yep.
press harder into your hand.
Yep.
So instead of getting a slice, now you've cut off your fingertip.
And you don't have as much speed or precision.
Mm-hmm.
It's just unfortunate.
Yeah. So and that's something that you gain with those good tools is you can start to gain knife skills because you're not having to use workarounds to like get it to do what you want it to do.
Well, and plus something also that I discovered is, once you work with, I'd say even just a good knife, like you say you get yourself a good knife.
Mhm.
As soon as you acquire that, you're like, oh, what all can I do with this thing?
Mhm.
Like, can I cut meat?
I'm gonna
Can I-
go get herbs.
Can I make
know?
vegetables?
Yeah.
I mean,
what do
honestly-
do? It's a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
The ultimate test is cutting a tomato
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yes. Oh yes.
Yeah.
because of the
and-
skin, the tautness of the skin or whatever. I mean, it's so hard to get through
a
it.
slightly overripe tomato.
Yes,
That's the,
where it's soft.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
because you'll just crush it and
It sucks.
Scott says, so Todd says, I have a question for the cast, German or Japanese for knives?
Oh well,
day to day, German.
I would go with German.
Yeah. And it's just because it's what I'm comfortable with and our style of cooking where, if your mom
That
ever taught
rocking
you,
motion.
Yes,
I-
we are into that rocking motion.
I'm not used to using a Japanese blade, so I can't really say as to whether or not I'd prefer a Japanese blade as of yet.
Yeah.
But the quality alone makes me want to get one as well because
Yeah.
I have a Hinkle chef's knife as well.
They're great. I love them.
I agree.
And actually, so I've got my beat up Henkel from eons past. And you know what? I love this knife. And the reason I love it is because of all the things we've been through. But I can fuck this knife up and I'm still happy. Actually, I'm going to fuck it up today for you guys.
Woo.
So here's the one that I won't. The shun, but
Just Scott says, a German knife coated in black?
this is kind of the new school.
Ooh.
Different
Henkel.
Very
20s, Scott.
shiny.
Different
Yeah.
20s.
Oh, wait, can I just make a comment real quick?
Mhm.
So the other day I was pulling the knife out of the knife block and it made the perfect shink noise. I mean, like it was movie level, like shink.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Like I actually stopped and I was like, oh shit, that just happened.
That's one of the things on honing a knife is I recommend after you have some practice, close your eyes. And then you feel and you hear what it should feel and hear or sound like.
Yeah.
So that's why you can see Gordon Ramsay just going, and then he actually takes that knife and fucking razor sharp cuts through something.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's how he knows what he's not like worried about the angle. He's listening and feeling
Right.
because he's so fucking good at it.
Well, it's like somebody that can tune a guitar by ear.
Exactly.
Like
Yep.
you just know, you've just done it so much. It's
Yep.
got a, you know the pitch, yeah.
Yeah. And when he started out, of course he started out,
Oh, nervous as fuck.
Yeah. You don't want to fuck up your good knife.
He wasn't a pro at the very beginning of
No.
things.
I think he was born a pro.
Well-
he was sharpening knives in the womb.
He cut his own umbilical cord. Yeah. That's good. So if you look at this is actually even a better representation of that rocking, that tip, or the curvature.
Hmm.
So they really,
That's like
they really accentuate it.
well, I was gonna say that's like a mass murder knife. Like,
I was gonna say Mike
Nightmare-
Myers
yes,
would be
Nightmare
happy
on Elm
to
Street or
stab
whatever.
somebody with
Yeah.
that.
And so I think what they did was really went for aesthetics on this. So if you notice the grind of the I believe that's the pommel.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that this would be bad because I like to pinch here, but actually it's kind of nice because your thumb like lays into it, which is
Your-
kind of nice.
your fingers just kind of
Yeah,
contour like right to it.
it's a lot more I thought it was completely aesthetic, so I thought I would hate it. I don't. They do make one that's a lot more like this, and it's called the Pro S or Professional S. This one's the Pro. So the Professional S has a lot more of the traditional characteristics. It's got the rivets, as you can see here, the rivets, and this is the tang that Dan was talking about. That
Yeah,
full
yep.
tang.
What I wonder what America has like brought to the knife table, like the chef knife table.
I don't think we brought chef knives to the table, but we definitely bring a lot of like stabbing weapons.
I feel no, I mean I feel like there has to be somebody who's like taking from the old and like
There
adding
is.
our okay.
His name is Bob Kramer, and he
Okay.
works for Zwilling. He is like the American, as far as I'm concerned, he's like David Bowie. You know, the guy who made the Bowie knives.
Yeah.
Is
No,
that-
sorry, John Bowie. Yeah.
I was like, I don't think
Yeah.
that's true.
You know, he was on that movie Labyrinth with the cross.
Yeah, I was gonna say she was probably thinking more about the cod
Yeah,
piece than
yeah.
knives.
So, but so he actually takes inspiration from both. So like his won't be quite as heavy duty. Oh, and this is a thick fucking knife. So if I hold the shun up to it, it's I mean it's
That's a knife.
yeah, it's substantially more stuff. So so this one is, once this one is beat up to the point where it's this one, then I'll do all sorts of crazy shit with this one, because it was only like I think it was less than $100. It was like I don't know, $80 or something like that
For the single knife.
for the one. Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
I've never spent that much on a knife
Well-
or any utensil.
yeah. They can be pricey.
What I've
I mean,
dis-
I'm not surprised, but you're
Yeah.
like, oh, it was only $100. I'm like, well,
but it's
Yeah.
it's $100 that's going to outdo every single cheap knife
and you use it all the time.
that you will
and
ever buy.
Yeah.
yeah. I spend $100 on way stupider things for sure.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing is like I was saying, the knife block. It's like, yeah, you get all the a 12-piece knife block, and then they give you all these things that you're like, I don't even know what these like. Why would I use this?
Yeah.
And that's exactly how I feel. Is like I bought whole sets, and I still think there's knives from back then that I haven't used.
Yeah.
I'll give them away to people pretty much.
I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, like the knife block set is just nice for when you're too lazy to clean your other knives. So
Yeah.
you just keep going through them until you're down to that little paring knife and you're trying to cut a tomato and it's terrible.
And that's why I have multiple chef's knives, is because I just keep using them, Same thing with paring knives. And so that's kind of the second knife you should get. Dan, will you pull out those three shorter ones? So a paring knife is really just a 3 to 4 inch knife, not serrated.
That's the one I'm talking about. At the end, you're trying to cut tomatoes with thing. You're
Yeah.
like, this sucks.
I mean, it works. It's not a big tomato.
Unless the tomato's bigger than the knife.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that one too, actually. I didn't even know I had this one in there. So this one's kind of cool. This one's a Chroma 301. So this is like a Japanese and a kind of a German style together.
Looks like one of those throwing knives.
Yeah, and it was designed by F.A. Porsche. So he's part of the Porsche dynasty
That
or
makes
whatever.
Porsche.
Yeah. mhm.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, German engineered. And so yeah, so anyways, very cool knives. Not as functional. I don't like them as I bought them.
It looked weird.
Yeah. It's got an interesting thing. So this little handle on there, like what I like about this is the ability to clean it. Because you could fucking autoclave this thing, you can make this thing surgical sterile. And so like this is supposed to be like a little balance knob or something. Little balance knob.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
fun.
know.
It's a fidget toy.
Yeah, pretty much fidget spinner that'll slice your arteries. So give this to the kids.
Okay, wait, hold on. I've got a request. It
Yeah.
says, I've got a couple things. So are we going to stay on knives or are you guys going to start lock picking? And I was actually going to say, like,
Mhm.
maybe you should have Dan start trying to figure out
Okay.
that.
I'll give you a little 101 on lock picking, okay?
Okay.
So this thing is the South Horde. Like it's a lockpick set, but it's in the form factor of a pocket knife. So I'm gonna push on this little thing here to push it out. Okay. So now this pops out, and so this is your little like leverage bar. Okay.
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 So you can stick it in this way, and then put the leverage in the direction you want, the lock to turn, and
Okay.
that's how you turn the lock. You can also put it in this way if you want, if you like, I don't know, if it's a weird angle, but generally it's going to be this way. And you want to use a very light touch because if you're going heavy, I guess the idea is inside the lock, there are pins. And when you look at your key, each of those bumps that you have in your key actuates a pin. So what you're trying to do is push on this enough to where when you use this part to push those pins into place like a key would, that they stay there. So you're putting a little pressure so that it kind of holds them like a little torque.
Todd actually has a pretty sweet learning how to. He showed me his lockpick set.
Yeah.
And he's got practice locks of different levels,
Okay.
like all from 0 up to 5
That you can see through, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
no, it's very impressive.
Yeah.
Todd and I have actually been talking, and he's like, "How do I get a guest spot?" I'm like, "What would you talk about?" And he's like, "Picking locks."
Oh, geez. Well, where is he?
I
Yeah.
know. Well, he's
I know where he is.
I mean, we could hold off on this if we want to. What do you guys think?
Todd, people.
Should we have a real professional guy bring some shit in and do it with
that
us?
would be fun.
All right, let's
Let's-
just fuck it for today. I'm
Todd?
sorry.
Todd sounds
Todd-
like you made the cut. Buddy.
Yeah, I feel like you need. He goes. Todd says pins and tumblers.
Yes. All right, we'll bring Todd in if he's our resident expert. Yes,
I'm gonna say he's as close to a resident expert as we're getting.
perfect. He's definitely more than me.
So,
All right.
Todd, we'll chat some more in person.
Yeah,
And,
I could talk about knives all fucking day. We're not losing anything here.
We both
Yeah.
can talk about knives all
Exactly.
damn day.
So back to the knife thing.
So hold on one second. We got some comments in here. Because Todd said he's got a mic, camera, and lighting, but I think we should have him in the studio.
Yeah. Jeez, Todd, you too fancy? Huh?
Scott G says, "We learned so much. That's awesome. Now I can cut meat. Can we all talk about what we are all thinking? So how taken are you, Roma?"
That's a you. That's all you, Romerica. That's
let's
not
see.
us.
Oh, Margot says, "Close the chat and hit thumbs up for them." And
Yeah.
Scott's a lot. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Scott is a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so Roma, for
Yes.
slicing tomatoes, would you use the smooth steel or the textured steel?
So in my personal kitchen,
Mhm.
because my knives aren't very sharp, usually what I do is I pierce it with the tip
Okay.
and then use that to start the cut. Now,
I score it with a
yeah, kind of
Yeah.
like glass. Or if I'm really desperate, I'll use the bread knife because it's
Yeah,
serrated.
yeah.
But you mean out of those knives that you showed us?
out of the honing steels because one
Oh.
is the chopping and one is the slicing. So the smooth honing steel is more for chopping straight up and down. The textured one is more for slicing.
And we're talking about the honing steel is that. Yeah. So
Yep.
the one that came with my kit is the textured.
Good. Yep, that's perfect then. So when you hone it, it leaves these little micro serrations in the blade. And that's actually one of the reasons this knife is so awesome is because that softer steel wears away faster than the hard steel. So it actually creates really awesome micro serrations that keeps your knife way sharper for way longer.
God, it's
Okay.
so
Badass.
awesome to cut through things.
Yeah.
Oh my
yep.
god.
And it's so thin that it slices right. I mean, there were guys that apparently could take a pepper, like a bell pepper, and they could cut both ends off it, cut it in half, and lay it flat. And then they would take their knife and just slide
Fillet the
in the
frickin'
fish,
seeds.
or sorry, in this flesh. And they could get seven cuts,
Oh my goodness.
and then they were so you could almost see through them.
Oh man.
Fucking crazy. And guys, of course, that are the best in the world at this shit, sushi guys and, those kinds of guys. Amazing.
Like that guy in, John Wick 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
The ninja dude with the great personality.
And, he was also really good at cutting blowfish.
Yes.
Fugu.
Fugu, yes. So, paring knives. There are several different kinds. This one's kind of a weird one. I don't really use it. It came with my set way back in the day because I thought I needed something like this. But this one's for like peeling stuff. And
Okay.
we have peelers, so I don't really need this. So I don't really use it. So it's pretty much brand new if anyone wants to buy it. Here you go, Dan. There you go.
Thanks, Steve.
So this one is just the 3-inch that came with the set. This has been my go-to paring knife for a long time. I can actually see where the sharpening has almost like started to make a little bow in it. But and then this is a newer one. I think I got the two knives, the new Henkel's Pro, and this one for like $120. So this is probably like a $40 chef's knife or something. Or sorry,
It may sound like a lot, but it's totally worth it.
no, totally not. Yeah. And that's one cool thing too, is that you can buy a set of knives that has like a chef's knife, a good paring knife, and a bread knife. And that's the perfect knife set for anybody.
It's all you need.
Pretty much, yeah. This one is long though. This one is 4 inches. But it's kind of cool because if you look at the old way that they did it and you look at the new way, they're almost making little chef's knives out of these.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way they explain it is like, hey, you have this chef's knife and then you have this one. And it's like, all right, that's cool. I can do all that shit with that chef's knife. And then this is pretty much the same thing.
So what would you use that for?
Everything. I mean, this is for taking the core out of your tomato. One of the things you do with a paring knife is you can really choke up on it, kind of like Dan was saying with getting that more control. Also putting your finger up towards the tip, and it keeps you from stabbing through the tomato into your, because your finger will stop on the tomato unless it's really soft. So this is just used for everything that the chef's knife is too large for, really.
Definitely a lot more precision.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. One thing I will say is don't use any of your knives to open a coconut because I have broken a blade on a coconut.
No,
It was a
they've-
Henkel.
I've seen.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen that they've got special knives now for like they have specific knives for opening coconuts.
Well, and you can use the back, you can use the spine of your knife to just crack a coconut. It's not as good as not as good as a knife, like maybe a meat cleaver. And they have a couple different kinds of meat cleavers. They have razor sharp meat cleavers, and then they have ones that are like not sharp, but so they'll break bones and do, in coconuts and things.
Oh yeah, they've got all kinds of crazy blades nowadays, and and it's fantastic to see what they're doing. Do you want me to throw that other one away? Not throw it away, but put it away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
No, I don't want you to throw away your knives.
So as
Damn
far
words.
as far as knife maintenance goes, keep them clean. You want to wash them with soap. Don't leave them in the sink in a thing of water. Especially with the better knives because they're like stain free high carbon steel rather than stainless.
Stainless.
Yes, that doesn't really stain.
But I feel that the stainless has a higher potential of rusting over a stain free.
The stainless, I don't think it has a higher chance of rusting, but it does discolor, I think, easier. Well, maybe not easier, but yeah, stainless reacts to things weirdly. One cool thing about a stainless steel blade is that you can, if you have onion and garlic on your hands, you can rub them on the blade under cold water, and it will take the smell out. Legit. I actually have a stainless steel little bar of soap. And so you just rub it on your hands while under cold water. Boom. No more onions, no more garlic.
That's insane.
I've heard that.
Yep. And it's like $6 on Amazon.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a stainless steel bar of soap.
That's all it is.
It's just a piece
Yeah.
of steel.
And it's so funny because I think I worked in the kitchens for, years. And I think my chef said that to me once, but it was like towards the end of my career. And I was like, whatever. And then I was like, oh, you actually can do that. That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Trevin, take notes. We're
Mhm.
giving you some good life shit right here.
Yeah. Real ass advice.
Todd said he can make it next week, so we can do the lock picking next
Hell yeah.
week, and we can
Yeah.
have a semi-pro hobbyist show us like the ropes.
Yeah. Tell him to
Or
bring his shit.
Yeah, explain the inner mechanism workings or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah. That's all shit I've looked into. I'm just definitely not an expert, and I didn't invest in all those fancy like practice locks.
Oh man, his set is impressive.
Yeah. And so maybe what we should do is practice, and then we should do the real thing
Okay.
because you can't see what you're doing.
Right.
You know? I think that'd be good.
Todd, buckle up. You ain't working past 5:30 next Friday.
Yeah. Yeah. Put it back in your pants, Todd.
You doing the late shift, Todd. That's what's happening is you doing the late shift.
That's right. But we'll give you booze. So
Yeah.
and Coke
Yeah.
Zero.
Todd says, what about stainless steel piercings? Those don't discolor.
Yeah, but they do stink.
I think it's
Get
your ears that stink.
Oh, okay.
Are you just having fun with Scotty over there?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Well, I think he's having more fun than I am, to be fair.
Ooh. That's a
Oh.
low blow, Roba.
I'm
Yeah, I'm just kidding. So if you guys want advice on knives and stuff, go to at Stephen Paul Cast on Twitter, because I will
Chat knives all day.
yeah, I'll give you recommendations and things. I'll send you links to buy knives from. Not that I get anything out of it, but I enjoy people getting better at stuff I like.
This
Yeah.
also reminds me of the sommelier in John Wick 3 when he's talking about his course that he wants to go through, and then at the very end he's like dessert, and then the
Yeah.
sommelier just goes, "Oh, dessert," and then he busts out the knives
Yeah,
and is
just
like,
the roll.
"Oh man,
Yeah.
freshly stoned," and it's just, ugh.
Yeah. That'd be such a good job, to be
Oh,
that.
he was right in his element, and it was just
a
fantastic.
weapon sommelier, and then you get a big clock like
Oh
like,
yeah,
what's
Flava
his name?
Flav?
Flava Flav. Yeah, I was like, dude.
no,
Yeah.
it's not him.
Flavor Flav.
That's right.
Yeah.
Flavor Flav.
Okay, so how much time do we have, Irma? Okay, about 20 minutes. All right, should we get to honing?
I would love to see that.
All right. So, so I showed you the 2 honing steels that I have, but I have the one that I actually like use. And so this one, it's kind of an aggressive, it's, I can't remember. I think
It's got a hilt, dude.
oh yeah. Which is good, which is what you want. So I think it's a 12-inch.
12-inch and ribbed for your pleasure.
I
That's
was,
right,
I was
yeah.
gonna say Aroma, 12
Yeah,
inches.
put that
Sound
right in
about
your butt.
Yeah, it's got that retrieval ring.
Yeah. Just, yep. Oh no, I lost my keys. Get out of here. So
Deep breath, buddy. Deep breath.
So so the traditional way you do it.
I'd say back up a little bit.
yeah, probably. Okay. See it? Nope. Okay. So I'm just gonna do it like I don't have a penis right in front of me. Okay? So you want to hold the blade at that angle that you've sharpened it at, or that someone has sharpened it at. If you look at any quality knife, they're going to tell you what angle it's been sharpened at. Some of the other ones, you probably just assume it's a 20-degree angle. If you're going to get it sharpened, I'd say, hey, can you sharpen this to a 15-degree angle? And I don't know if they'll charge you more. They shouldn't, but you get a way sharper knife at the end.
Yeah.
So if you're going to pay them, you might as well get a better product. Here you go, Dan. I'll cut myself with that if we don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Put it back. Okay, so like I said, nobody likes this guy. Okay. Now, the thing about it is you want to have a consistent angle. That's the most important thing. So when usually I'm doing this standing up, or sometimes I'll do it sitting, but usually standing up. You want to hold it at about a 45-degree angle, and you're going to be kind of across your sternum so that you have
See, I didn't know
crossover.
you did it towards your hand. That looks scary.
You can.
I don't.
but-
I do it outward
I do.
because
I
I
do it towards my
don't
hand.
want to stab myself.
Yeah, and so that's why the hilt is so important.
Yeah, I don't
and,
trust that.
I really shouldn't with how accident prone and life prone I am.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But that's how I do it.
Well, so the things I recommend that you have is the steel, the knife, and some kind of like a low. Roma, was there another one here? Because
I
this
think
one
so.
actually has stuff I wrote on it.
Okay, I saw
If
that,
it
but
has the same,
let me
yeah.
see.
Roma's like, this can't be good information. It's in his handwriting.
He can cut it. It'll be fine.
But I sit there with paper, and the thing that I'll have an entire pile of fucking paper on my living room floor, because I've been sitting there. Thank you. I've been sitting there, sharp, or practicing honing, and so that's the nice thing about having a knife that you're, not super concerned about.
To just practice on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, you don't get good at anything you don't practice.
Yeah,
So,
Trevin.
yeah, Trevin.
Practice, buddy.
So what I do is I take a piece of paper, and if you tear it in half, it makes it harder. Since this is a fairly tough paper, I'm gonna tear it in half.
Margot says she what is it called? She whatever it is you're doing, she does it towards herself too. Maybe I do.
Honing.
Honing. Maybe I do and don't realize it. I don't know.
But you can do it either way. Either way is fine. And that's something that I've learned. It seems like if you do it one way and then just do a couple strokes the other way, it really, really sharpens it.
And I might have done that switch. I literally have done this 6 times in my life. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. So
I just
looks-
never felt
sounds
comfortable
scary.
honing away from myself, really.
especially if you're in a kitchen with other guys and stuff, like it's just like it seems reckless. You're just swinging a blade out to midair.
The words of advice
That
when
hurt.
involved with blades is, you always cut towards your buddy, not your body. But in this instance, I feel that that's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Ow, my lungs hurt. Damn.
So the first way I'll show you is towards you. Okay.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
So the important part is that you want to get a full full stroke. Okay. So
Sorry.
just like that. And so I even nipped the tip just a little bit there. And this is magnetic. So that's kind of
Oh.
cool.
Are they all like that?
I think it's from actually honing that it gets magnetic.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because I saw in MacGyver once, he was hitting a pipe on a fire hydrant to get keys out of the.
I have silverware that's magnetic
It's
because
a
of
kinetic energy, I think.
I think it realigns the metal.
Frequency?
Realigns the frequency.
Could. I don't know.
Well, I think the frequency realigns the atoms or whatever, and so the molecules of metal. I don't know.
I have silverware that's magnetic from being in the dishwasher because
Interesting.
I think it rubs against each other and
Oh,
yeah.
interesting. So basically, you're gonna go hold it at about the right angle, and when you start your angles, so this straight down would be a 90-degree angle, and then half of that would be a 45-degree angle. Half of that would be a 22-degree angle, 22.5. So then I'm going to go even more to get that 15-degree angle. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So, and this is where you kind of listen and you feel. Okay, should sound nice. So I'm just closing my eyes.
And
I'm feeling the grit. I'm feeling the.
don't go fast because you think that's the way that it's supposed to go. If you go fast, that's because you've got the experience to do so.
So it's not super sharp. I didn't want to sharpen it before we did this, and actually, I'm gonna do some dulling here. So that way's okay. It's. Let's see if it's any sharper now. Let's see. That's
Yeah.
good. Yep.
Yeah.
So it worked already. Here's the other thing. My favorite is the exact opposite of that, Roma.
Okay.
So if I hold the knife, I bring them together and pull back. Okay. And this is
I think that's how I do it.
this is the way I close my eyes and I feel and I hear. You shouldn't have to put a lot of pressure on
Pressure.
it. Yeah, not really much at all. The only time I ever put more pressure is down towards the end of the knife. Okay, so that's something you just develop with feel, and the reason is because when you click these two together, that's your most solid point.
Mhm.
I'm not going to de-knife a guy from where his hand is. I'm going to de-knife him from where the tip is. Like if you're, I don't know, sword fighting or whatever. So what I'm saying is you don't have the leverage here.
Right.
that you have here.
Right.
So the same
It's
pressure.
more solid contact.
Exactly. Yeah, more solid contact. It's right by where you're and you can slightly move the honing steel back and forth to help you, but you don't really move this much. You don't move this much. You move your knife hand more. Okay. So, and then I could just close my eyes and I know it's right. It just feels good.
Margo says, "Stop closing your effing eyes."
I fucked it up. Yeah. And then I'm just going to do a couple, can't really use this one again, but. So
but you can.
works
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Proved you can.
Yeah. So, here's a one that I kind of like. And it's just because it's like I feel like a Frenchman doing it this way. But so I hold it
Oui,
out the
oui.
same way, and then eye contact, and then just I don't know. It feels like I'm like, oh, I'm such a dandy,
You leave me out of this, Sailor.
Yeah. Oh, hi guys. You want something to eat? You hungry? Huh? You look good.
Do you
know?
want some meat?
Some way. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy, you guys look fierce. So. So that's kind of a cool way to do it too. It just kind of feels good because you got that like sweeping motion.
Yeah.
It's flamboyant.
It's fluid. It's fluid.
Yeah, if you wanted to impress
there's
someone-
flamboyancy and fluidity.
Yeah. If you wanted to impress somebody, that's a decent way to do it, I'd say. Like if let's say you were carving up the turkey for fucking Thanksgiving or something, you're just in front of everybody like, hey, everybody, look at that, It's people like it. People think it's cool. One of the reasons Gordon Ramsay's so badass is because of the way he fucking sharpens a knife. He owns his knife. It's iconic and it sounds the same every single time because I think they recorded it once and then just overdub it. But I
Turns out.
yeah. But it's so good and it sounds so fucking good. So this is the way that I like to do it now. And I'm going to show you something cool. This is going to be hard for all of us. So, see this part?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Oh, I'll put this on the.
Oh, dude.
Hmm.
Come on, man.
That's terrible. So what I just did was took the flat part of the steel down right by the pommel and then just ground my blade down. So it's going to be as bad as it'll ever get. So let's see how this does. Oh, well, I must have not got that part
Yeah.
too well. All right, so it's tearing and mashing everything.
Yeah, that was not good.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
That was fucking hard to watch,
I
dude.
know.
And we've done some pretty fucked up shit on this show.
Yeah, and it gives you those willies like the ASMR shit, you know.
Oh God, man. Make
So-
it better.
Now that it's just like not even. I mean, it's pretty much got a
Good luck
flat surface.
Cutting
yeah.
a tomato. That's all I
Yes,
say.
Exactly.
That tomato's gonna be torn the fuck up.
Scott says this better be good.
Here's the thing. It might take a little while, so like I'm gonna do it and then I'm gonna check and then I'm gonna do it and check. So
Yeah.
so it might take 2 or 3 paper tests.
Yeah.
But this is actually really just to show you how dull your knife could be and what this can do if you have a knife that the steel is good enough that, if you take
You
a cheap set,
reshape it basically.
that it's soft enough that you could do that. And that makes it an exceptional knife because you can hone it anytime you want. Between every cut, you can hone without grinding your blade down by using one of those things you use at the sink, one of those drag through sharpeners.
Yeah.
So this is the way that I do it. It's kind of like the way Gordon Ramsay does it. The way Gordon Ramsay does it is I think he's so fast that it's hard to tell, but I think he kind of does like a half in, full out.
Okay.
And then he comes half in, full out, half in, full out, like that. And that's what I do. I try to get like a full in, full out, but of course you can't do that at speed. So I guess we, I've adopted it from him. But yeah, I'll just show you what that looks like. So I bring it a little closer to me, and then it's almost like I'm doing a scissor action. Whoop, I just stabbed my mic.
Fuck that
Gotta
mic.
move that back. Okay. All right. So
As long as you don't stab yourself. I mean, it might be good video though.
yeah, oh yeah, it get some hits. All right.
Well, I'm sure that, when we watched Brian throw up on air, it definitely got a lot more hits. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens with this.
All right. This is not ergonomic. Okay.
So we see what's going to be improved next.
I'm nervous.
Eyes fully closed. Okay. Let's see how this works.
Margot, don't shit yourself.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. I folded that one over myself.
There you go.
Fuck yeah.
I think you got to get a little bit more, but
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is certain areas won't be as sharp as others. So,
Right.
So that's why you have to do it a few times
Mhm.
because you'll get
Well, it
it.
looks like some of the places were really sharp, and then
Exactly. Yeah.
I noticed myself doing that too. But I like am very deliberate and watch myself as I'm doing to make sure I get everything.
Yeah. And with that, I'm starting off pretty fast. So I should probably slow it down a little bit. So
I mean, I'd like it if you didn't cut your fingers off during the show.
Ah,
Meh.
meh.
Margot wants to know if you cut yourself, are you going to sue yourself on air?
And Roma, here's the secret.
Okay.
Here's the thing I told you I was going to tell you that would change things. So, that honing, you get that fold over, right?
Yeah.
So every side I hone on, it's going to go the other way a little bit.
Right. That's my fear.
So I'm right-handed. I'm always going to finish on the bottom to roll the edge out slightly towards what I'm cutting.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you're doing it this way and you are right-handed, if you finish on top, your knife's going to feel more dull than it is. If you finish on the bottom, then you're going to slice through things brilliantly. And,
Yeah.
and I forgot even to do that, so might even be sharper than I thought it was. So
Okay.
I'm just going to finish on the bottom to curve it out just to the right so that my
because
cuts,
that's the way you're coming for the cut. Coming in
Yes.
for the cut.
and it's just going to slightly bend it that way. So it's not like, but it's just something I found that if I finish on the top, it doesn't cut as well as if I finish on the bottom because I'm right-handed. That's only an assumption because
Right.
nobody tells you this shit.
Right.
This
I mean,
is
it makes
all me.
it's
sense.
It's
shit
It
that
makes
you got to
sense.
figure out on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever do, yeah.
Well, yeah, but you're not a woman, Steve, so you always
Exactly.
finish.
Funny story.
He Dublin.
Keep hitting my mic.
So what you're saying is you're not used to sharpening blades in front of a mic.
Nope. Get a new fresh piece of paper and we'll see.
Oh,
Nice. Yeah, tips are right. Hilt's good. Yeah. Got a
is
little
it
more
the
to-
middle of the blade that you're having issues with?
middle of the kind of I think up towards the tip. The tip was all right though, actually. Just-
There should be some ham or some turkey in front of you. I fucking swear, dude.
There you
Oh,
go.
dear God.
Nice.
Whew.
I would say that did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so and then if you know multiple styles, you can change it up a little bit and get more successful, I think.
Sure. and
Um,
just whatever is comfortable and gives you the best results.
And here's the thing too, is if you're not so great at the cool looking like then you could just do a couple of the other ones and then get an actual like good hone, you
Mhm.
know?
I'm gonna say this now to a particular listener of ours because he's new and he's young. Trevin, yes, I am going to point you out. However, the reason why I'm pointing you out, my good man, is because this is skills that I would highly recommend that you save this video in particular for you to learn.
I'm going to
from,
save it. Are you kidding?
so that for lo and behold, girls are impressed by it.
Yeah,
You're
cooking's great.
watching it live.
hmm
Girls like it. Roma
been-
can attest.
I've been cooking for about 20 years and I don't know how to properly sharpen a knife or hone it. So
Yeah.
So this is not a dig at you, my man. This is a genuine lesson. Please learn from this. By all means,
a way
this
to
is-
a woman's heart is through the stomach.
Mhm.
that is more true, I feel, than it is about a man.
Same
it
is true.
really is.
Same is true for men. Now I've won over a lot of men with food. Don't get me wrong.
No,
Well-
I don't detest that at
And-
all.
So the next kitchen tool you need is a torch so you can make creme brulee. That'll get you laid. I call it creme brulee.
You know what else will get you laid, Steve? I
What?
got to tell you what else will get you laid. Finding yourself over at thesensiblesociopathpodcast.com, all one word,
Mhm.
where you can get your
Prostitutes.
Sen socks. Well, we're working on that.
Mhm.
It's you got the hairy legs, you got the non-hairy legs,
Mhm.
shaved, non-shaved. By all means, they look great.
Mhm.
You'll have that T-shirt, and you can, but of course, you serve them in your Charlie Cat mugs of the different colors.
That would actually be really cute to like buy a Charlie Cat mug and then like either roll up a t-shirt or a pair
Oh,
of
yeah.
socks and put it in it.
Yeah.
Oh man, you get the bundle. Let's do it.
hmm
Let's.
We
do
need to
it.
make a bundle.
Yeah.
I agree.
yeah.
But you can also Pooh Bear out in your Sensible Sociopath podcast T-shirts of V-neck, crew neck, different kinds of colors. They might say they don't like the Pooh Bear, but girls find the Pooh Bear cute.
Yeah.
And you can also get your Sensible Sociopath podcast hoodie, although get it now so that you can gift it later
Mhm.
because it's starting to get warm outside.
Yeah, it is.
So,
Yeah.
and that's a wonderful time of year. But yeah, find yourself at thesensiblesociopathpodcast.com, all one word. Where else can you find us, Steve?
Well, you can check us out on Instagram at the Sensible Sociopath Podcast. You can also find me on Twitter at Stephen Paul Cast. We are on all major podcasting platforms. Please subscribe and download there. You can sign up to have the automatic downloads. That helps us make some money. I think half a cent per download. So we're rolling fat in it. So please support the show in any way that you choose to. Roma, I really liked how you said, well, I didn't even know how to sharpen or hone a knife. And I was like, yes, yes,
Yeah.
That's
Shiga.
fantastic, dude.
Yeah.
You got it on this one.
This is something that I'm very passionate about, and I don't know. I feel like it's not well known enough. Like this should
Yeah.
be something that people.
I think a
don't-
lot of
they
people
don't-
get shitty knives and
they
they
don't
they
teach
wear
you
it down
this.
and they just buy new knives.
They don't teach you this in home ec, man.
If they have home.
I don't even know if they
Yeah.
teach
I
home
don't
ec
know
anymore.
if they teach home ec
Yeah,
anymore.
It's called non-gender studies.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, for
a,
Christ's
a
sake.
different episode, please, for the love of Christ. A different episode.
How much time do we have? Oh, we're
we're
ending.
done. We're
All
done
right.
skis.
Well, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad the knife got sharp at the end
Oh yeah,
because I was like, man, that's good.
you
know.
did dull it pretty fucking good
Dude,
right
Yeah.
there, boss.
That made my taint pucker. Tent?
Yeah, no, it's the tent to the taint and
Mhm.
and yep, nope, everything
I call it the old cul-de-sac. Where do I come up with this stuff?
on
Sorry.
the spot,
Yeah,
Johnny on
exactly,
the
yeah.
spot.
Yeah,
Stephen Paul.
Absolutely. That's why they paid
Steven
me the
on the
big
spot.
bucks. Yep. No, we'd have a great time. We had a great time. I'd like to thank everybody who contributed to the show and chatted with us. Sorry that I was making a lot of racket today talking about knives, but goes that way sometimes. Sometimes we have an informational show.
And we're going to have a great one next week.
Yes.
Todd's going to be on the show. He's going to teach us about lockpicking from his experience, and we're very excited about that.
Yep. So I think we're doing lock picking next week. I don't know if we'll have a week break in between, but then we have to do disguises.
Okay.
That's going to be a good one.
I'd say maybe a week break.
Maybe. Okay.
And just to get everything lined
Oh.
up properly.
I forgot about something.
It's a box.
What's in? Hold on.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Well, it's Brad Pitt. It's a cold smoker. So if you guys watch any shows or you go to the fancy bars where they add the smoke flavor to
To drinks and
your
stuff?
drinks, they put a little cloche or whatever over the top, like a fancy cake, and then they pump smoke into it, so it cold smokes anything that you put in there. So you could put
Really?
candy, you could put nuts, you could put whiskey, you could put ice cubes, you could put soup.
I think we should
anything.
do ice cream.
Ice cream.
Oh.
So that's what we're gonna do. We're going to cold smoke some shit,
Hell yeah.
and I just want to try it. I haven't tried it yet. So
Nice. That'll be fun.
It's gonna be great. I think it'll.
I'm very excited about that.
Well, because I wanted to get a smoker, but I'm like, they're just big and dirty and all this shit. I'm like, that seems like the best option for at-home people. So maybe
Yeah.
if you're one of those people that thought you needed a Traeger, you can just fucking grill your salmon and then put it in, and just smoke it.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. So yeah, tune in for that. That shit's gonna be fucking. It might change your life.
All right.
Steve, I think we also might need to do a side video for our Patreon.
Yeah.
In which you and I cook
Yeah.
and
Well-
we grill.
If I had a great kitchen, I would love to. So if anybody has a great house they want to give me,
Well, what I'm saying is that, with it being outside,
Mhm.
let's get together for
Okay.
some outside cooking.
yeah. I just got my Aero Garden too, so I'll have some fucking cilantro. I'll have some shit we can make.
You're
some
gonna
shit
have
with.
to tell us about that Aero Garden.
Yeah.
You showed me earlier,
Yeah.
and I look forward to seeing that and you explaining that to our watchers.
Yeah, and there is hardly any weed plants in it.
All right.
Hardly any.
Let's see. To end the show, Todd says, "A way to a woman's heart is not through her stomach. It's through listening and communicating."
Gay.
I think we should end on that. Have a good night, everybody.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Best podcast in the world.
The world would not be the same.
I like it.
No wonder my anxiety's so high.
Few people laughed. Few people cried.
Oh, what's in the box?
Most people were silent.
And that was it.
Now I am become death,
Sounds like a bad time.
the destroyer of worlds.
Yeah, so this doesn't seem like a great idea to me.
I suppose we all thought that, one way or another.
You didn't tell me any of that. That's crazy.
Well, Rama, when you're a hero, you don't tell everyone until you're on your podcast.
I'm about to hear some shit.
We all need to laugh.
I think just sitting down and, listening to
The Sensible Sociopath. This is the shit you're supposed to be watching.
Gen X is gonna love it. Millennials are gonna be like, I'm offended.
Also, my dog has a giant dick.
Oh my god, that's enormous.
I love it.
It's still a racist dog whistle.
Where you kind of have like a rotating cast of characters.
We're talking baby seals, eagles, wolves.
I'm just glad we're not going to have to eat with racism anymore.
It's worse than the butthole.
We're technically considered propaganda.
It is very contagious.
I think we really need to talk about environmentalism.
Like, are they studying pine cones?
Make yourself a nice stingray omelet. That's how Steve Irwin died. Cholesterol.
It's fucking delicious.
His father had ended up killing his mother and committing suicide.
In that order?
That's diabolical. I like it.
They had an apple gun where you could shoot Bigfoot.
Has she always been retarded?
I mean, she could have had a head injury.
You don't know anything about tartar sauce.
He had picked up a 400-pound statue and was like walking around with it.
Was the statue racist?
I'd like to think so.
It's like how they invented bacon and avocado to make a turkey sandwich tolerable.
I have a fear of fire.
Like a werewolf? Daniel, you've been our greatest viewer. Well, Daniel and Sarah and Katrina. Daniel!